How it started versus how it's going. This is called long run, short catch. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. Click the bell next to the subscribe button. Hover over that bell until you see the choice that says send me all notifications, not some, all. Click it and subscribe and be on alert for when we upload new videos to this channel or when we do an update to any of the stories we have covered. This one, long run, short catch. Listen, this started out like this, right? A Jamaican fugitive had escaped again. That was the headline in the Jamaica news in December of 2021. I'm telling you how it started, and I'm going to tell you how it's going. December of 2021, December 1st, this man, Orville Purnell, who was 27 years old at the time, said, Christmas a come, me no want to spend no time in a lockup, so I gotta find a way to escape. So Orville Purnell, 27, of Belgium Road in Buff Bay in Portland, escaped custody from Central Police lockup on December 1st of 2021. He was waiting an extradition to St. Lucia, actually. Purnell was first arrested on a warrant in St. Lucia for an alleged murder and for illegal possession of a firearm and illegal possession of ammunition, and he escaped St. Lucia. After he escaped St. Lucia custody, August of 2020, he ended up in Jamaica. From St. Lucia to Jamaica. Now, while he was in Jamaica, he escaped. So he fled from St. Lucia in 2020 October and fled to Jamaica. He was then arrested in Buff Bay, Portland on the 14th of July on a Wednesday, 2021, by investigators from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Fugitive Apprehension Team. Y'all know how that go already. Caribbean islands working, law enforcement working together with each other, say, hey, we have a fugitive, I think he's heading your way. We have some intelligence that says he headed to Jamaica, so please be on the lookout for this individual. All right, they were on the lookout for him, and lo and behold, there he was in Jamaica. Matter of fact, I think his actual origin is Jamaica, and he went to another Caribbean island, St. Lucia, where he was wreaking havoc in St. Lucia and had allegedly committed a murder there, escaped custody there, ran back to his yard in Jamaica, then them pick him up in Jamaica and was supposed to extradite him back to St. Lucia to face those charges. At the time, they said that Purnell was of dark complexion, medium built and approximately 180 centimeters, 5 feet 11 inches tall. He had several tattoos on both of his arms, and at the time of his escape, he had dreadlocks on his head. However, investigators had believed at the time that he had cut his dreadlocks off in an effort to change up his looks so that they would not find him. That is how that started out. When it happened, I said, because of the way it happened, I said back then that somebody got paid for him to escape. And he obviously has money and links because so said, so done. Well, fast forward till today, 2025. Remember, we're tracking him from 2020 when he allegedly was first arrested, or when he was first arrested and allegedly had committed a murder in St. Lucia, 2020. 2021, Jamaica. Escaped in Jamaica in 2021. Again, very slippery fellow, coming like wet soap. Them couldn't hold him. Yeah, them say long run, short catch, So this is how it started out versus how it's going. All right. The fugitive who walked out of lockup in Jamaica is captured in the United States of America. Blazing headlines in Jamaica yesterday, which was the 16th of April 2025. And it said that the United States immigration authorities have arrested a Jamaican man who escaped police custody twice in the Caribbean, including in Jamaica, right? That means St. Lucia first, Jamaica next. 32-year-old. Remember, I know he was 27 when he first was accused of a crime and committed and then escaped St. Lucia. 27. Today, he's arrested in America. He's 32. 32-year-old Orville Purnell was caught by special agents from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, Homeland Security Investigations and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive on April 4th in Savannah, Georgia. Don't know why we're getting the news on April 16th, but that's what it trickles down to. So the fugitive has been in St. Lucia wanted since 2020 for the shooting death of a person named Cleus Alfred. Purnell was arrested for that crime, but he later escaped custody by cutting the steel bars of his cell. Come on now. You in a cell, where you are get tool for cut steel bars, you know? And I remember at the time, people were saying that he is actually well connected. So well connected meaning he has resources, people who will help him escape, and he also had money. All right. Now it's being put in the news that that's how he escaped from St. Lucia. He cut the steel bars to his cell. Purnell was arrested for that crime, but he later escaped custody by cutting the steel bars of his cell. He later was apprehended in Jamaica in 2021, but later reported that Purnell simply walked out of the lockup in Kingston Central Police Station. He didn't knock out anybody to get out. He didn't dig a hole in the ground and crawl through it. He didn't knock out the wall and climb into another part. He never run and jump over no barbed wire. He simply got up and just walked out the door. According to a release from ICE, U.S. Border Patrol agents, they encountered Purnell on December 7th of 2022 near San Ysidro, California. That's the place. After he attempted to enter the U.S. using a fake identity, and he was actually paroled into the country, and he was given a notice to appear. Now, you know, there's many things to be said here. 2022, we're talking about under Biden. So if you think about the recent elections in the United States of America, Trump becoming president, when Donald Trump said they're letting in criminals, they're letting in escapees from prisons in third world countries and some of the worst people in the world, murderers, rapists. Remember when Donald Trump said that? Remember how upset everybody was? Well, here's a perfect example of somebody who was wanted for murder, had skipped out on multiple Caribbean islands, detained and escaped lockup through great means, and made it to the U.S. border and was actually let in on a fake ID and was paroled, meaning they gave him a number and they told him you should report every once a month or once or twice a month to this particular address until your case is called up. He probably went in and says, I'm seeking asylum. So ICE said that Purnell was again arrested in July of 2023. Remember, I know he came into the U.S. December of 2022. And that was in San Ysidro, California. He was again arrested July of 2023. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. You're talking about 8 months after he came into the country, was paroled and given a date to appear, or was put on a parole until his date would be called. Sit down and behave yourself until we call you. 8 months later, he was arrested by the Clayton County Sheriff in Clayton County, Georgia, all the way from California to Georgia. What was he doing in Georgia? Well, According to the reports, he was in possession of a stolen motorcycle that he was riding, and he was using it to try to evade arrest, trying to get away from the law. During the arrest, the police allegedly discovered a stolen 9mm handgun on Purnell as well, on his persons. We are committed, they said, to tracking down fugitives who pose a serious threat to public safety no matter where they may try to hide, said ICE agent in charge Atlanta Steve N. Schrank, who also covers Georgia and Alabama. Now, this operation, he said, highlights our ongoing work to dismantle criminal networks and bring violent individuals to justice. We're thankful for our local, state, and international law enforcement partners who helped us to secure this arrest. The U.S. authorities located and arrested Purnell after their investigations led them to Savannah area. He was taken into custody without incident after trying to escape with a firearm, 9mm pistol, which ran as stolen on his person, riding a stolen motorcycle. Purnell faces charges of being an alien in possession of a weapon, and he will stand trial for murder after he is extradited back to St. Lucia. So he's a Jamaican, but he will not be extradited to Jamaica. He will be extradited to St. Lucia to face the greater charge of murder, and then after St. Lucia is finished dealing with him, then he will be extradited back to Jamaica. His escape from the Kingston lockup resulted in disciplinary actions against members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force because it was said that somebody was paid for Purnell to walk out of that lockup. Now, let me tell you what it says on the ICE website about him. It says, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced the capture of a fugitive wanted for murder who escaped custody twice in the Caribbean. Orville Andrew Purnell, a 32-year-old Jamaican citizen, apprehended by ICE Homeland Security Investigations and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives Special Agents in Savannah, Georgia, following an extensive investigation and multinational manhunt April 4th. Purnell is accused of committing a brutal murder in St. Lucia in 2020 and had been a fugitive for several years now. He escaped from custody in St. Lucia during his murder trial, and he fled to Jamaica during his murder trial. In 2021, he was arrested again in Jamaica, and he escaped from custody there as well and ended up at the U.S. Border Patrol agents encountered Purnell on December 7th of 2022 near the San Ysidro, California, where after he had attempted to enter the United States using fake identity. He was paroled into the country under the Biden era and given a notice to appear. Obviously, he had no plans to appear. In July of 2023, he was arrested by the Clayton County Sheriff's in Clayton County, Georgia, for possession of a stolen motorcycle and attempting to evade arrest. And during that arrest, the police also discovered a 9mm pistol loaded on his person. ICE, Homeland Security, working alongside the ATF, located and arrested Purnell after their investigations led them to the Savannah area. He was taken in without incident. Purnell now faces charges of being an alien in possession of a weapon after he is extradited back to St. Lucia, and then he will stand trial for the murder. ICE, Homeland Security Caribbean, Bridgetown, and Kingston provided significant contributions to the investigation and were instrumental in the success of this operation. ICE, Homeland Security, prioritizes the apprehension and fugitives involved in violent crimes, particularly those who have fled to the U.S. to evade justice. The public is encouraged to report any information regarding fugitives or illegal activities to the ICE tip line by dialing 1-866-DHS-2-ICE or 1-866-347-2423 or by completing the online tip form. Now, with that said, Donald Trump had made a very brawling notice that he put out. And he did so after another Jamaican was caught in Connecticut after he had been arrested in multiple states and immigration had placed a hold on him under Biden era in multiple states. And although immigration had placed a hold on that particular Jamaican who was also wanted for murder in Jamaica was let go every single time. He was let go multiple times in multiple different cities until Donald Trump took office. Once Donald Trump took office, his ICE agents held him, and then there was no more catch and release. So he was immediately processed for deportation and has been since sent back to Jamaica. Matter of fact, he was sent back on the first deportation flight under Donald Trump from the United States of America to Jamaica. The man said to all of you, if you're doing crime in your country or in other places and thinking about running to the United States of America because you feel like you can hide here, please do not come. Do not do it. They have all the resources in the world. They have a broad web of intelligence, and you are bound to get caught. They put out that there were over 5,000 Jamaicans whose deportation orders have been signed already. However, most of those Jamaicans are on the run. Them are run up and down in a foreign. Them can't find them. So ICE is out and hunting, not stunting, hunting. Yeah, and it's just a matter of time before they find them. Now, will they find all of them? Probably not. Are they going to find a lot of them? More than likely. They are determined to do it, and it looks like they are absolutely going to do it. Here am I say. The badness thing, I don't know what to tell you. All I'm going to reiterate is this. The United States of America, especially the climate that's on right now, should be the last place you should be looking to come. So if you committed murder or whatever crime you did in whatever Caribbean island you did it in, continue to bounce from Caribbean island to Caribbean island if you're trying to get away. But if you come to the United States of America, you're just giving yourself up. You might last a little while, but eventually they're going to catch you, okay? Because that's just their reputation and how they do. I'll leave this one right here as a warning for anybody else who is thinking them can chuck badness somewhere and run to the United States of America. You're going to have a long run and a short catch. You see how this man wasted his years? He was 27 when this all started. He is 32 at the moment. We don't know what might happen to him when he is sent back to St. Lucia, but we do know for a fact that he is actually a Jamaican citizen. And I'm thinking this time, when they catch him in St. Lucia, they're probably going to lock him under the jail until his court proceedings are finished. Now, again, all his credibility has gone out the window, so just look for him to be found guilty of murder in St. Lucia once he's deported back there. And I don't know how them handle St. Lucia, how much time they give out for malicious murders, but he's about to get that. And then after that, he'll be heading back to Jamaica to start life all over again, however long that is. Why? Was it worth it? I don't know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video. And again, remember when Donald Trump said they are letting in some unsavory people, some people who are criminals, people who have escaped from prisons in other countries, people who are rapists and murderers. And a lot of us said, oh, shut up. He's lying. Is he lying now? And if Purnell got into the US, you could only imagine how many others came in and are here. Food for thought. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.